Hey everybody, just got out of Mile End Kicks. There's Mile End Kicks. Directed by and written by Chandler Levesque. It's got Barbie Ferreira, Devin Bostick, Stanley Simons, Julia Garapi. Couple scenes with Jay Baruchel, who I thought did a phenomenal job playing against what roles he's normally cast in. As kind of a, well, don't want to spoil it, but he's just less than kind as a person and less than wholesome as a person. And I thought he played it very well. And like I said, showing his range. So, what would I say about this movie? First of all, I guess I would sum it up. So, the main character, Grace, who is a music critic and is trying to write a book about Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. There's a point in the movie where she talks about what it's like to be a woman who, in an office environment, in any kind of environment, where there's always a semicircle of men who are talking, who are expressing, and the women, sorry, choke out a piece of popcorn kernel. Women tend to stand outside the semicircle, hoping for a moment that they can interject and be seen and recognized, but even then, they're exploited within that semicircle. So I would say about this movie, that I would say out of all of the great movies about bands and music critics, I mean, I would probably put Cameron Crowe's up there at the top, obviously, if you think about Singles and you think about Almost Famous. This movie's in that semicircle. Barbie Ferreira did a fantastic job, captivating, really just kind of as a person who is searching for their thing in their 20s, awkward, not knowing what's next, fresh into the world, that first taste of freedom. What do you do with it, right? I've been talking a lot with the other movies about, obviously, that relate to me in terms of midlife, next steps, but haven't dealt this year with a lot of movies that are dealing necessarily with early life next steps. And this was a great one to look at your 20s. Like I said, I definitely compared that to Singles and just the kind of the indie vibe, and what Seattle was in that movie is what is happening in Toronto and Montreal in these movies. Like I said, Nirvana the movie this year, whatever this Canadian independent thing is that's happening this year, I'm all in. This is so good. And it is like I talked about with Fantasy Life, it's like the 90s Sundance indie vibe is back. And I thought a lot in my mind about the grain of the film and all the music that plays and just the steady cam shots. It reminds me so much of, Swingers and Train Spotting and just all those, name a great 90s independent movie. And whatever this is, Canada, thank you. And the writing is beautiful. The story it draws you in. Like I said, it's got a great message, and it's carried by great cast. The Devin Bostick, who I know most from playing Roderick in the Diary of Wimpy Kid movies, fantastic. It's this great kind of awkward, in your 20s rom com without kind of the rainbows and unicorns of it, right? At its heart, story of a female journalist who's trying to pursue a book on Alanis Morissette as her role model of a woman who told the powers that be, this is how I am. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to have a voice, and put out Jagged Little Pill, right? And I'm also down for the late 2000s nostalgia when the Skype music played. Like, oh, Skype, I've missed you since COVID. And the way people dress and the way people talk, the montages of Alanis Morissette, I had to laugh because of obviously How I Met Your Mother and Robin Sparkles. But this movie does a really great job standing on its own, but also tipping its hat to movies. Like I said, Cameron Crowe, there's a poster right away of Almost Famous, and it's a great tribute to that movie, but it's great standing on its own. And like I said, it stands inside that semicircle of great music critique movies that look at kind of the the depth of the artist, right? And just kind of how it's a smoke and mirrors. And they even say it, like, this dude's the worst guy in Montreal. And again, one of my goals, and has been for a few years, is to get up to French Canada and go to the Osheaga Music Festival. And I love this because, like I said, they've taken Montreal and what Seattle was, Montreal is. It's great. Look at that music scene that Single showed us early on in the 90s of Seattle. Now we're seeing it since the 2010s and into today, of those really great Canadian indie bands, alternative bands. Just I can't say enough. Like, the cast gels so well together. I would say mostly a cast of not like famous faces in my mind, which reminds me a lot of Trainspotting. Before we knew who those people were, here they were doing a movie about heroin addiction in the slums of London, right? This movie carries that weight. Like I said, with a great message. It's got some really great moments of speeches. The soundtrack, and even the fake soundtrack, I'm going to be carrying around with me. The song Korean Grocery Store and I Kept My Pants On in my head for a long time. And there's a really great, in a rom-com, you have that moment of confession speech, I would say. Sitting on a bed with quote, I didn't even want to spoil it, but how do I do it without spoiling it? So Devin Bostic sitting on a bed holding a personal massaging device. And one of the great lines of the film, again, if you don't want to know it, turn around, look over there, plug your earmuffs. It's like, she gave me oral herpes, and then I was like, enjoy Anne Frank's house before she went to Amsterdam. Something like that. It's bad, witty. It's a movie. I enjoyed it. So I enjoyed the message. As a father of a daughter who's a few years away from going into her 20s and going to have to face this world, I enjoyed it for that purpose. Great writing, great acting, great soundtrack, great vibes. If you can, it's in a movie theater near you. Promote it, go see it, talk about it. Mile End Kicks. Definitely going to be something to keep your eye on. And Barbie Ferrer is definitely somebody to keep my eye on for the future, nominations, etc., etc., etc. Great job, everybody, in this movie. Fantastic.